folks, Grandpa Greenwald, Old Man with a Pan. Today we're going to make some pumpkin spice muffins. I've been baking them all week since I pureed the pumpkin here. What we thought we'd do a special Halloween cook today. So I have my skull pan out. I have my Mickey pan, I have my Pooh pan, my dinosaur pan. We're gonna see where we get. I have a double batch of mix here. We're gonna see where we get in filling up these pans. So let's go ahead and get started. Move this out of the way. Alrighty. Yesterday when I was making some of these muffins, I had this bright idea while I was measuring out the small spices, the cinnamon and what I have in here. Cinnamon, allspice, ginger, the baking powder, the baking soda, the salt. I mixed up an extra batch of that. So we're kind of ready to go with that. All we need to do is add the flour. So, and like I've said before, I'm sipping my flour. I just want to have nice smooth flour that I put in here. So I'm zeroing out my scale. Well, let's add some flour to that baby if we can get it in there without making a big old mess. Okay, a single recipe is calling for 210 grams of flour. So we're going to do 420 grams. I'm going to have a cup in there. I'm going to pour it over the edge today. Whoa, 422 grams. We're going to go with that. Alrighty, we have our flour in, and like I said, I pre-mixed these or pre-measured these yesterday, so we're good to go with that. Our baking soda, baking powder, it's all in there. Alright, so we'll whisk this all together. We have our baking powder, baking soda. We want that to be distributed in that flour. So that's it. Here's our dry ingredients. It's dry ingredients is ready to go. Okay, first thing on the wet ingredients is oil or butter. And I decided today I'm going to go ahead and use butter. I was leaning toward a pound cake. Typically when I use the gem pans, I make a heavier type cake, a pound cake. And a pound cake calls for butter. So I decided to go ahead and use butter, even though I'm not changing the recipe. I'm changing the recipe from the oil. Instead of putting oil in, I'm putting butter in. All right, we got the butter out. I'm going to grease the pans with something else, so I don't need that there. But what I'm going to do is set this whole bowl in the microwave and soften up this butter really good. I needed 240 mils, which is 1 exact cup. And a stick of butter is 113, so I put in 226 grams. I'm going to go ahead and add another 16 grams of just oil. 16 grams of cooking oil. All right. Let's see, we're going to have to come back to that on the sugar, but I put the sugar in last. Absolutely put the sugar in last. I made the mistake the other day of heating up this butter and putting the sugar in, and then the butter cooled and the sugar was stuck in the bottom of the dish. But while I'm doing that, we want all of our ingredients to be room temperature. I took the eggs out early this morning. They're at room temperature. I took the pumpkin out of the fridge, and it's close to room temperature. I'm going to set it in the microwave just to take that little bit of edge off. In the meantime, I'll go ahead and get these eggs cracked. Again, they're at room temperature, and you can see they crack real easy, and dump out really. All right. Let's put our eggs in. We cracked them in the bowl, so in case we drop a shell, we're not digging shells out of that. I'm gonna go ahead and whisk that in with the butter. We'll get the rest of the wet ingredients done, and then we'll mix these two together. All right, what did we say? We have our oil. We're going to put some, we need 2 tablespoons or 2 teaspoons of vanilla. 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and then I have some Adams extract here. This is a pound cake extract. Look, it's nice and clear. The extract's pretty strong. So I'm adding 2 capsules. Not sure what that's going to do, but if it's a pound cake extract, nothing wrong with the cake tasting like a pound cake. Extract and our vanilla in. Ooh. I need 200 grams of white sugar. A lot of sugar. Okay, and I learned also the hard way. We really need to kind of dribble we need 200 grams of brown sugar also. We need to kind of dribble our brown sugar in so we don't put a bunch of lumps, because we'll end up with lumps we can't get rid of them. 153 grams out of the dark brown sugar. And I'm out of that. So we're going to put some of the light brown sugar in. We're done with the scale. I think I'm done. Well, I'm not really done with the scale, but I think I'm done with the scale. All right, we're going to get this stuff all whisked up. You can see a couple of pieces of that brown sugar floating around down in there. Okay. I'm going to scale back for one more thing. I think I'm overdoing it here. Not overdoing it, but pumpkin, we need 560 grams of pumpkin. I had about 600 grams in the jar. We're going to see where we get with the 560. In here. All righty. A nice soupy consistency there. We'll start mixing our dry ingredients in here. Just going to do this real gently. Again, when you're mixing flour and muffins and bread and things like, you really don't want to beat it up to, or cake mixes and things. You don't want to beat it up too much. You just want to get it incorporated in that juice. Don't want to overmix. That's why we're not using mixers here. Don't need Feed that whisk down in there now. And we'll put the rest of the flour in. Again, nice and easy. Coming together really nice. That's about it. Now make sure the flour's off the sides of the bowl. And I'm dragging around, I can see down in there. That's it. That's mixed. Mixed pretty darn good here. Alrighty. We have our oven preheated for 425 degrees. I sprayed a few of the pans here. I don't know how far our batter's going to go, but I sprayed them with the cooking spray with the flour already in that. My buddy Honey Badger, guys, if you haven't subscribed to him yet, he does a great little show over on Honey Badger. I'll put a link down in the description down below, but he made the skull pan breads last night, and he stuffed them with cream cheese in the middle, and they came out wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So anyway, he's got a great little show going over there. He kind of drags it out. He does all lives and things, but he's a hoot. He's a hoot. Go over there and show him some love and give him some subscribe to him. Okay. So let's go ahead and, I found it easier if I'm doing it this way, and let me switch that camera around so you can see what we're doing here.